afternoon. Just gonna run through the markets for today. Just gone through the European close. 440 now. I mean, this morning we had some data out of the UK. I'll just make the chart a bit bigger here, which pretty much was absolutely bang in line. UK GDP figures. Unfortunately, not really moving the market too much here. But since then, we pushed higher, albeit with a bit of a weaker dollar. We've just recently now tested the high of the day, which you can see here. Yesterday's high sort of containing any move higher for now as well around there. So quite a decent resistance area, which in turn with the push through to the highs in the afternoon, the FTSE has been coming down as well from those highs. And you can see a couple of days ago the low recorded here, haven't really looked back since. So good sort of triple bottom around there, and we're driving up to the high seen perhaps on the 21st, but yeah, with the stronger pound today slash weaker dollar, we've been coming down a bit. Rather short of news. However, today we've just had the oil release, which as always is quite a tricky one to trade. Following the bullish API last night, the immediate reaction from today was positive, but you can see here in that 60-minute candle we went higher, made a new high, came down to the pivot, which is obviously a very nice area linked in with the high of the 20th, and found support, and we're just pushing higher now. Worth keeping an eye on obviously 48.66, which was the overnight high from the API, and then today's high also around the $49 handle. Highest levels seen for a month here, while trending down for this year, making lower highs. You know, if we can get a break through the high of the day here and 49, suddenly, you know, we're looking at $50 again. So an interesting one to keep an eye on there. Oil, the pivot working really well. Euro this morning came down to the support 1 level. No real new fundamental driver there, but another sort of good support area seen from the lows around here in the S1, which held quite well back up to the high of the day. So quite a nice range bound afternoon and morning for the euro there. I'd say the key level obviously to the downside, if we were to get there, is the high of the 18th, which we went through following the ECB conference last week, and then you've got the yearly high, which is the highest level seen since August 2015, so almost 2 years. You know, if we start to see maybe some stronger US data, we've got a bit tomorrow, or anything a bit surprising from the Fed tonight, it could well be the highest level we'll see for a while. You know, wouldn't surprise me. That very strong resistance area that we did, albeit break through yesterday. But if I show you here on the weekly chart, you can see just how important that area is there. So relatively decent rejection after breaking through there now, but it'll be interesting to see if we can sort of continue any sort of upside, or if this is the extent of it. So like I said, we have a bit of data out tomorrow. Let me just transition my screen here. So you can see we've got durable goods in the afternoon, wholesale inventories, which, you know, not the most important releases, but again, you know, if we do get yearly high or low numbers, then we can see market movement. Initial jobless claims, more sort of tier 3 data release, not expected to change too much from the previous release. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but it may well be that any movement that we see tomorrow going into that is from the Fed this evening. Just taking another look at oil, just making it a bit bigger as we approach the high. Also had a pretty positive effect on the Canadian dollar here, as you can see, just having a bit of strength come through this candle here, approaching its high, as oil does as well. With the Canadian dollar, you can see again this sort of highest we've been for a while. Nice trend market here. Seems that the lower it goes down each day, the better the buy opportunity is, the higher lows and higher highs. So worth keeping an eye on that Canadian dollar around R1 if we can perhaps push above there later, if oil can, you know, push on through $49 and beyond. So definitely worth keeping an eye on there. But oil price there you go, just coming to what was the overnight high there at 66, not a bad area where people will perhaps look to take profit. Elsewhere in the market, gold, we can just see now, found nice resistance again on yesterday's low, which was also this morning's high. So in what has been relatively a quiet day, the markets have been quite technical. You can see down to S2 this morning where it held quite well as well, and especially ahead of the Fed later, that's not all too surprising. Equity markets and the Dow in particular just continuing to push on. You can see from the low, which was also yesterday evening's sort of closing low, found good resistance support there, breakthrough, good sort of classic opportunity there, then broke through the evening close there, and yesterday's high, nice classic opportunity linked in there with R1. So sort of one directional still equity markets. Again, it's like the Canadian dollar, the lower it goes, just the better the buying opportunity, and I think that's going to continue for a while. Every sort of sharp down move just presents a nice opportunity for people to get in, again chasing all-time highs. S&P not as impacted as the Dow, but again you can see made a new high over yesterday's sort of high, and we've come back down now, but not too much volatility. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight and into tomorrow. Bit of US data to come tomorrow's session, and I'm just catching at the corner of my eye here T-notes, which is approaching its sort of low of the session, so worth keeping an eye on there as well. But any sort of further trade into 5 o'clock ahead of 7 o'clock, not the sort of the wisest thing to do perhaps. Worth keeping an eye on oil and that Canadian dollar. However, if we can get pushed through, I'd expect Canadian dollar to also get there. Have a good evening, and I'll catch you all tomorrow as well.